Hi, it's Cassie Oelberg in Selinsgrove, Pennsylvania. We are getting ready to do sketch 3 of the virtual crop. Guess what? We're going to use the border tools, and we are going to, of course, build on fast to fab pages, and it's going to be super fun. So let's head on over to my desktop. Oh, okay. So this was a super fun sketch, and there was a lot going on down here. I used a page that already had some things happening that I could add to. So I went ahead and made that work, and then I moved the wave up to the top for that border, and that worked out really nice for me. So remember, when you're doing the sketch, you can change things up to be the way that you like them. The other thing that I did was I expanded the number of pictures per page because, again, 2 is never gonna do it for me. I know some people like that, and that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that for me, I like to have more pictures. I also used this beautiful diamond lattice chain border, which I've been doing a lot of lately. It just reminded me of train tracks, so it was perfect for me. And we kept the skinny piece and used it to just add a point of interest across this border. So let's go ahead and just build one more side of this. I have lots of train pictures. So I am doing another train page. We had a super good time. The train was a perfect thing for us because my son loves trains and my daughter loves to plan. So she planned out the whole trip, and that was just so cool to see her surprise my son and him have no idea that we were going to the first railroad yard that had railway ferries. He had no idea, so we just showed up there, and that was super cool. So we're going to do this, and we're going to do a little bit of magic mats while we do it. So I'm going to go over a couple of things. One, we're going to use our border maker cartridge. Remember, the nubs always go to the outside because that's what makes it lock in. You can't put your finger over this while you're doing it, and then you have your spot to put the border. Then the other thing that I like to make sure that you know is this locks it down. This is just your lineup piece, and it flips out of the way. And then we're going to come in here, and as we pull out, if you do it on a little bit of an angle, that works out really nice because it doesn't directly tug on this little piece, and you have the better opportunity to actually get to keep that piece. So as you can see, that worked out really nice for us, and we get to keep this piece, and we're going to use it on the page also. And then we're going to go ahead and come over here, and instead of just cutting it, we are going to do the same thing we just did. We're going to get a shorter border. We're not going to use this border on this particular layout, but I go ahead and I make those shorter borders because I use them sometimes on layouts, tuck it behind things, lots of fun things you can do with those little extra pieces. And why waste that strip? I've noticed that I never actually use them when they are sitting in my folder, just plain old strips. So I've just been trying to get more creative and actually be able to use those. Okay, we're going to bring our trimmer over. The trimmer to go in here so it's a little flatter. And we're going to do magic mats. So you've probably done magic mats before, but if not, what you do is I want a 6 1/4 by 4 1/4 mat, and I want a number of them. So when you do the cuts, you want to add 6 1/4 plus 4 1/4 makes 10 1/2. So we're just going to come here, and we're going to cut the 10 1/2. So now I still have this little tiny skinny strip. Maybe we'll figure out something we can do with that. And then we're going to bring over here 10 1/2. And now we're going to make ourselves some mats. So bring it over to 4 1/4. Line it up top and bottom with this black line. You don't want to just rely on pushing it up against the top. When you rely on pushing it up against the top, it leaves room for human error. So if you just come over here and you measure it right there along that black line, you're going to get your best cut. This is 1 inch between the white line and the front, so we're going to bring it down to 7 1/4. That means our cut line is at 6 1/4, and then we just cut. And then we're going to rotate to the left and just do the same thing. Line it all the way on the black line. Bring this down to the front of it to the 7 1/4. That's going to be right there on that cut line, and push up. So there's one mat. And now we don't even have to worry about starting down at the right spot, because as long as we line it up on the black cut line, we can just cut 2 more times. And we end up with 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 mats and 1 inch square. So just a super fun way to get those extra pieces. Now let's just come over here. Let's go ahead and take these down so we don't lose them. I'm notorious for losing things. So we're going to go ahead and put our border on here. And this does just look a little bit like train tracks. So I'm going to carry this through the entire section on the trains of the album. So that'll be like 4 or 5 pages where I will have train tracks. This is going to go just right under here. See, this looks nice just the way it is, but I just thought it just added a little something to put this right here. It's just very eye-catching. So now we have that. And now we're going to go ahead and make the top part of this. So we're going to use the border tool. Now this is the swell. It is the swell and the waves. It is the same as the one that came out on the decorative trimmer. And pull this over. I already cut the top. Let's just pretend like I didn't, because I did that other page. So I could have just kept going, but I'm going to do the actual cut so that you can see what I did. So I'm going to put this down on the mat. And I'm going to put this down here. And I just want to cut a little bit off so that I get that wave. And I like this look where it's flaring out this way. So I need to make sure that's flaring out that way. And I open up my blade and pop this in. This is very sharp, so don't just go like that. And now I'm going to put these nubs right into the groove. Now, when you do that, kind of angle your head a little bit and look to make sure it's in there. And then do a little wiggle, because it's very easy to not have them in there. I also don't usually start right at the edge. I start somewhere over here. And the reason I do that is because sometimes it catches if I start right on the edge. I don't know if it's the way I cut or if everybody has that issue, but I just go ahead and do it that way. And then I'm going to flip it. So that's at the 1/2 inch. I'm going to bring this down to the 1 inch. I'm going to bring it down a 1/2 inch. So let me just show you. So this is on the 1/2 inch. Well, now it's not, but it will be again. Okay, I'll just put it on the whole inch. So that's on the whole inch. So I'm going to bring the top of this down to the 1/2 inch. So I can cut a thin one. This is flaring out again the way I wanted. I'm going to put these in the groove. And always just take your time and get it right into that groove. I wiggled it a little, so I'm going to wiggle it back. Okay. And I was lining it up on both sides and taking my time and getting that into the groove so that I don't rip my paper. And then I start it in the center and I go back and forth. And that just makes it so that I don't rip it right at the edge. Sometimes when you do that right at the edge, it will rip. Okay. So now I need a 1.5 inch strip of this brown to go across the top. And when I do 1.5, I go this direction because it's smaller, and I can do anything up to 1 3/4. And it gives me this nice table for my paper to lay on. And then I'm just going to cut. And now this is going to go across the top. And you probably noticed my little banner across the bottom. It's telling you to let Creative Memories know that we would like Fast to Fab pages. If you feel strongly that saving time and money by having those things already on your page is a win for you, then please, by all means, let them know. Because it will make me sad when we run out of Fast to Fab pages. And then I'm going to bring this up so I can use my measuring. And I'm going to line this up with this little tip at the 1 inch. And there we go. We have that cute border. And now I'm just going to add my pictures. So I'm going to use this photo of my husband and son at the trains. I'm going to use this one of all of us. And then, guys, I don't know if you ever do this. This works really well for me. I like to take pictures of the words that I would like to save for later. I'm going to just cut this at 3.5 and get that extra off the bottom. So I like to take pictures of it, and then I can use that either for notes later, or I can just tape it right down onto the page, which is usually what I do. I just put it right down there because journaling is not always my favorite thing to do. So I save it for writing fun things about my young adult children and what they're up to or how they felt about it. Or like over here, I wrote about how Andrew loves trains and Adriana loves Andrew and planning. So she surprised him with trains at the train museum. So I save my writing for stuff that I can't just take a picture of and slap down. And it makes my life so much easier. So if you don't do that, that's just a little hint to make your life easier. And sometimes I put those in a peekaboo pocket, but I just wanted this right out on the page because it was super fun. And it was my favorite part of this trip because it just demonstrated how well my kids get together. And for a mom, that's always the best feeling, right? Whenever your kids love each other and want to do nice things for each other. Put this down. I had the picture on there crooked, so that's why I popped it off. Anyway, it just, whenever your kids want to do things for each other, it just really makes you happy, right? Okay, so then I'm going to pull this over. I actually may want to use something. I'm going to use it from the Natural Beginnings collection. Look how nicely the Natural Beginnings goes with the Global Getaway. It's amazing. It's like they knew we might want to combine them. So I'm just going to pull this over, and I'm going to put the very best because exactly what we were just talking about. To me, this is the very best. I'm going to add this cute little heart here. And maybe I'll pull something in from over here. Let's see what I like. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and use this cute little pinpoint because the very best is right here. So I'm going to add that in. And there we go. That side of the page is done. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I don't feel like I need to do the exact same thing all over again, but just thought it would be fun to hop on and show you how to make that border and how to use the parts of the Fast Fab page to save yourself time and money. So have a great day, and I will chat with you